And like, so my reaction was just I'm like, shut up. People are going, shut up.
And that's like the worst reaction you can do too. Oh,
Welcome once again to Chill Filtered, the podcast where we've been drinking whiskey, well, Cole, for 5 years, so you don't have to, but you probably should. You probably are, and that's why we like you. Just want to say thanks for showing up. We love having you here. And honestly, it's crazy to think you've been doing this for 5 years. I've been doing it for 3.5. And it's just like, it's just fun, man. It's still fun.
Yeah.
I love doing it.
Yeah. I was thinking about it today with like, not everyone can like hang out with one of their best friends on the weekly, but every time they get together, they drink. So it's pretty great in that way.
No, man, it is. I love it, man. It's like a weekly thing that I look forward to. So I stress about it sometimes, but once I sit in this chair, we hit record. It's blissful, brother. You know what else is blissful, Cole?
Business.
Liking and subscribing on YouTube. Writing a review.
Hit us up on Instagram.
We love it. Hit us up on Instagram. We'd love to talk to you. And if you want to support us monetarily, send me the money. No, okay, patreon.com/chillfiltered. And show me the money.
What else is blissful then, Robbie?
Did I miss something else?
No. I'm saying like now that we've talked about the business.
You're asking me how life. You know, this is, so we recorded yesterday. There's not a lot of like business in between, except for I've got an update for you. Yesterday, Moose had to sleep outside all night long.
Oh,
he ate the cookies, a dozen crumble cookies.
You're gonna sleep.
Large cookies
outside.
And he ate a pound of beef jerky. Although
doggy dog.
He's smart enough to do thievery. He's smart enough to go, I can find the food. He is unathletic in every way, except for when he tries to get food off the counter.
That's great.
He's also smart enough to not eat the like oxidized thing, the do not eat thing that comes in beef jerky. I was like, oh, did he eat that? Nope. Yeah. Sitting away from the rest of the garbage. Kid. He is. My wife is like, so like, I texted her. I'm like, you're going to be, she's not been happy with Moose lately. Moose has been, I don't know if I mentioned this. We house sat, or we babysat, we guinea pig sat. Some guinea pigs a guinea pig for a trial of getting guinea pigs. He got into the guinea pig food and I don't think he liked it because he didn't eat all of it.
But he still ate it.
He ate it. And I think Wilson got into it too. And it was just like runny poops. And like Finley, Finley and Juniper wanted to do the bounce house in the backyard. I'm like, yes, I got to finish this. If you guys want to get to it sooner, if you can help me scoop poop, that'll help. So Finley's out there with her little shovel scooping poop. She's like, Dad, I'm trying hard, but there's lots of runny poops. And I go, yeah, I think the dogs are feeling a little sick. She goes, I hope they don't get diarrhea. I'm like, honey, those runny poops are diarrhea. And she goes, oh no. Yeah. So anyway, Moose slept outside.
That's funny.
He's been.
So is that more of a punishment or more of a deal with your own poop, Moose?
Dude, it's more of a, I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night to you needing to go outside.
Yeah.
Right. And I think to him, probably it is a punishment because Chelsea woke up this morning. He was like laying right by the door asleep, and his hearing is gone. So I think he always thinks he's like alone enough to steal food. So he does it now when we're around. Buddy used to be the same way towards the end. But anyway, so he's laying right on the front porch, and she goes to let Wilson and Bo out, and they jump on him like Moose. And he wakes up. And then he runs inside and just lays down on the inside. And he's like, I'm tired. Like I'm sorry. I feel bad because that dog, if he's away from me, like he gets frantic. Like it's so cute for him running through the house. So run into the room both ways. And then, yeah. So anyway, he was.
You're a good lab dad.
I'm a good dog. I love dogs.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah. So anyway, he was in the office for a while. I was getting stuff ready, and it just smelled to high heaven because he was farting like crazy. But also went and got a haircut today, and I went to the beardsmith, and I bought myself a shirt. It's my favorite.
Ooh, beardsmith.
And and there was a dog there, and the dog came up to me, and like I've seen the dog there every time, but she's usually there's a lot of people there. I was like one of the few people waiting, and she came up and I was petting her, and then she put both paws on my shoulder and just buried her head into me. And the owner was like,
sweet.
She must have known you needed a hug. And you know what?
Oh,
I didn't know I needed a hug, but I think you always need a hug. You always need loves from dogs.
Yeah, I always love hugs from cute dogs.
I thought you were going to say you always love Doug. Doug, you're the best.
Doug's great. Hey, shout out to Doug.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's kind of new. Speaking of Doug's,
never
mind. I'm not going to say it anyway. Doug. Hello, Douglas.
I never watched that show because you didn't have cable. Didn't have cable exactly, but I've seen a few. I was never this show's awesome.
Have you watched? Speaking of shows, speaking of not having cable, have you watched that Shiny Happy People yet?
Remind me what that's about.
It's about the Duggars, that like the 19 kids and counting or whatever.
Oh yeah, like the documentary or whatever.
And then this homeschool thing. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. It was pretty good. So I liked it.
Yeah, because there were issues in that family, and like potentially like religious based, like churchy issues as well. Maybe.
Yeah. No, it was like this guy who never had kids, started like these programs, and there was just a lot going on in them. It was crazy.
Yeah,
it's worth watching.
I know there was definitly in the family, like there was like at least one guy that was like a sexual predator. Basically.
Yeah. He like got arrested for, I think his name's Josh Duggar, got arrested for like child pornography
or something like
golly, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing about those kind of situations where it's like you got to look good and you got to look like you got it all together. I guess that title makes sense. Shiny Happy People.
Yeah.
Because it's just like on the outside you gotta present something, but on the inside it's like, there's plenty to talk about with that. But
I tell you, as a father, especially a father of daughters, watching it just made my blood boil. Just
I probably won't watch it then.
Well, that's
about that stuff.
Oh, you have to, like, you really.
And my daughter's 2 years old, and I'm like, I just don't want anyone thinking that they are free to do those kind of things.
Well, that's the thing, is like, I know a lot of people talk about like triggered as, you're triggered. That's about, you shouldn't be triggered. But I'm like, no, like being triggered is a good thing. It is. No, like you have to know, like, this is not a good situation, and I need to, and I'm prepared for it. I know I shouldn't be in this place, shouldn't be happening. So it's like, you got to teach your kids like that level, like, of being triggered. Where it's like, this is never okay. Like Juniper's had some health issues this week, and like we had to go to the doctor, and the doctor had to like do some examinations, and she was like, can you pull your pants down, kind of a thing. And she looked at me, and I'm like, this is an okay time, honey. So I'm like, grateful for that. Amazing. Where it's like, you got to have them like ready for that. Especially like, because there's, daycares and schools, and it's like they're out, like, and even like more statistically, it's more than likely someone So you got to just be like, hey, kiddo, just mommy and daddy, maybe grandma, grandpa, then you'd help wipe in. Like, it's like these are the only situations, and if you ever feel uncomfortable, you just say stop, and you come find somebody you trust. So anyway,
that's what I need to start teaching, because Beck's old enough to at least get an idea of there's certain people that are allowed to, change your diaper, or like anything like that.
Or like if something hurts, or put an ointment on, or something like that. Like, and when mommy and daddy put the on, this is how they do it. Like, I even think of like that U.S. gymnastics doctor that like violated all those women, like thought it was a medical procedure. Maybe even it's like, this is not right. So you got to teach your kid, like, this is the right way a responsible person who's taking care of you is going to do it.
Totally. Shout out to all the dads, but especially the girl dads out there. Even though boy dads can also deal with these kind of things, I love our girl dad population and our listeners. Shout out to friggin' Dramhound. You know what I'm saying?
With the Dram Pup. Shout out to Dram Pup.
Yeah, with the Dram Pup. We love Willow.
For like a celebratory 5-year anniversary thing, this is what
at least it's not depressive. Enough.
Well, because we're far enough away from things that it's
and also we're indignant about it, as opposed to like sad about it. Like, we're more angry about it than we are sad.
Man, did I ever tell you about the time took Amara to the bathroom at a park. I think it was either a park or a Costco.
No.
So like she was probably 4, and I'm a germaphobe. I've always been a germaphobe.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just like in my house, like my germs are my germs, my family's germs.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I clean up dog poop half the time, and pee and like, but
Totally.
so I always have this thing where like I would take her to like, because it'd be in men's bathrooms too. Like, and like it was during the summer, it's always just me. So if Chelsea was there, she would take her, but it's usually just me. So I always hovered, like put my elbows on my knees and did like an inch hover above the toilet seat for her so she could do her business. Yeah. And one time I accidentally, her butt touched the toilet seat and she's like, "You touched me. You made me. You touched me." I'm like, "Shut up, no." And like, so my reaction was just about, I'm like, "Shut up, shut up, shut up." People are going, "Shut up."
And that's like the worst reaction you can do too. Oh, it's so yeah. If you did it again, you would have been like, "Honey, it's okay if you touch the toilet seat." But yeah.
But I was like, oh my gosh. Well, and the other thing too is like the other day, like I Juniper threw a tantrum in Target. I think I told you about that.
I don't know.
And I'm like, oh gosh, it was bad. She was like holding on to my foot, and I'm like, "Nope, we're not getting toys." And I'm walking, we're walking away, and she's dragging on my ankle like through the store.
Oh, that's rough.
And then we got to the checkout, and she's still like, it was a fit. And I was like, she's not been feeling well, so I don't blame her too much, but like she knew better. And I go, "Can I just put my card in now? And I'm going to go take her out to the car." She's like, "No, I have to scan everything." And we had like, it was for like, we bought Chelsea birthday gifts. So it was like a million little things. She's like, "I have to finish scanning everything first." And we stood there for about a minute, and it did not get better. And I go, "Can my daughter pay for this? I could give her my card and she'll pay for it." She goes, "Yep, she can do that."
Or
yeah. So I hand the card to Amara. Amara goes, "I don't know how to do this." And the cashier lady goes, "I'll show you how." And I just scoop Junie up, and I'm taking her out, and she's like, "Nah, no." Luckily, she's like, "Dad, stop, Dad." Like, so she called me dad. But like when that happened with Amara, we don't look the same.
That's true.
And I'm like, if somebody would have heard that and seen me with that girl, like, oh gosh. Anyway,
that's a great point.
Yeah.
So Beck has been, she's amazing, and her freak out moments lately have just been like, "I don't want you to go." And lately she's been really daddy's girl, which I love, but it's also like, "Baby, I gotta go. I have to go to work today." And but she will lose it. And like 2 days ago, she like completely, Heather said she was inconsolable, took 17 minutes to even leave the house when they were planning on leaving at that point. And just because she was sad that daddy was heading off to work. And we've been trying to like be on, like, so we're like, well, why don't we all go to the car, and then daddy will put you in the seat, and then daddy's got to go in his own car to go to work, and mommy will take you to daycare. And she still freaks out, but not as bad. It wasn't as bad as the first day, but today even we had a better day. But I think the funny part is just, I love that she just loves me, and she doesn't want to see me go, and she will not react the same way about mommy, at least at this point in time.
Yeah.
But
that's good.
Great to be so loved,
especially with new baby coming. That's good that you have that with her.
Exactly,
because that's going to be you.
Much more on her.
Yeah. Juniper's that way with Chelsea. So hey, do you ever watch Daniel Tiger with her?
Not yet. We actually haven't watched TV in the 2 years she's been alive.
That's great. I will say Daniel Tiger is awesome for like social, emotional stuff.
I believe it.
And there's an episode where
it's like
grown ups
Mr. Rogers
back. Yeah. So grown ups come back, and like I'll leave. I'll be like, "I love you." I used to be like with Amara, "I love you, honey." Grown ups, and she would say, "Come back." So it might be worth.
I love that.
Might be worth starting TV with her,
or at least teaching her the song.
There you go. Okay, you're a better man than I.
Well, you had Amara was what, 6?
7. She was 7.
7. Okay. And so that's a lot to hit. And like 2 girls at once with Finley and Juniper. And I don't blame you. Like we basically were like, let's see how far we can go without TV. And we've made it thus far, and we'll see if we can handle it any further. You know what I mean?
Well, it'll be interesting when you get the second, like Amara, like, gosh, my parenting style changed so much. I mean, just twins is difficult, but like adding another kid in, like Amara's like, "When the twins come, do I get more screen time?" And I'm like, "No, honey." And then lo and behold, she was raised by Cartoon Network. So there you go. From that point on, like it gets tricky. And like
and now she's a teenager.
She is, man. And it is crazy. Craziness. Anyway, how are you doing, brother?
Doing good. I mean, it's funny. Like we talked yesterday and kind of caught up, but I feel like there's still more to be said. But I basically am telling people at work that like, hey, I won't be here in 2 weeks, and at the very least, or at the very most, rather. But
or the very something.
That's something. But I've also started studying and kind of getting into the study season again. And you're starting
to study, and you're going to have a newborn without sleep. Fighty McGee showing up, man.
Dude, it's gonna be
Virginia
insane.
Area. Do not steal this man's parking spot.
Yes. you will get bopped. It's be ready, man, because luckily I got like another 5 months, but
I think they're okay if you're like, you're gonna get bopped, like a man who's gonna like, bop you.
Bop.
Did you say bop?
Like, ow, you just bopped me in the head. Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna turn those glasses into contacts and boop you good.
That's funny. But life's good. Very like this. I mean, this very well is probably our last episode with both of us for a little bit. So that's hard. I think I'm gonna miss this a lot. But I'm excited for you and the fun you're gonna be having with other people. But I'm also like, I wish I were part of it.
But full disclaimer, the history's gonna suck for the next month.
Oh,
so if you tune in for the history,
you're
in the wrong place.
You might want to skip a few. But no, I don't feel like anyone tunes in for just the history for this podcast. They're like, let me skip ahead like 20 minutes in.
No, I think honestly, it's a good balance. Like I love the history. Like I have a hard time paying attention sometimes because that's me. But like you always throw in, you're good at it, man. So like when I reach out to people, I'm like, if you know any history about what we're gonna do, you might want to share
it. You got any background, just say whatever you got.
Like I'm gonna do my history sucks.
And maybe you can extend the, I'm sure you would extend the shooting the breeze segment because
you're gonna have some getting to know you
more. Yeah, exactly. So
which I'm excited because I feel like that's something that's a little more unique about the way we do things.
Totally.
Like we are very much a whiskey podcast, but we're very much more like relational based and like
that's a great way to put it.
Listeners, as much about me as my closest friends do because I've talked to one of my closest.
Like, and we're not afraid to.
Cole, you're probably
or wait, no, we are
fake the funk on it. We are afraid, but Cole, you really are probably like my closest friend. Like I talk to you on a deeper level than I do anybody else, man. Like every week.
And I certainly don't talk to any other friends weekly. So.
Screw you, other friends. Rob's
exactly.
in the game. No, I'm excited. But so I think the cool thing, like bringing on some personalities, and if you're a fan of some of the people that we bring on, we'll probably, get a little bit deeper into their lives and know a little bit more about them than you might regularly from just watching them sample stuff. So that's cool.
Did you ever hit up Bruzel?
Dude,
you got it. You just shoot
I
your
will.
shot,
I am
man.
going. I'm going to shoot that shot.
Yeah.
I am. Yeah, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed with like how I'm going to line this all up, but I am going to. I still got to reach out to the podcast guys, the Grease and Will. I'm going to reach out to them. I haven't reached out to Matt yet. I just told basically Connor was like, "Hey, have me on." I'm like, "Yeah, I planned on it. Just I never told you."
Yeah, we just assumed that.
So Connor will be on. John's going to be on.
Yeah,
love that guy, Mr. Hughes, Voldemort Hughes.
So, and depending on how long we go, maybe other people, some of our listeners as well. So,
you know what? I'm just gonna. I got some ideas with
depending
listeners.
on
reaching out. And I don't know. It'll be fun. It'll be exciting.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
You know what I'm doing tonight?
What are you doing?
I'm smoking 2 briskets for tomorrow. There's a Father's Day, birthday, graduation event we're going to tomorrow, and I was asked to do 2 briskets.
So is it like a family thing or a church thing?
Yeah, family thing.
Family thing. Nice. Yeah, well, that's fun, dude. Briskets. Like I don't have the patience and tenacity. I for a longer smoke. Like even just pulled pork, I don't really go for. It's just a longer smoke. I just don't. I don't have the attention for it. Like right now, what I'm struggling with is like there's like 80 million things to do, and I have to I have to focus on one, and I can't. So focusing on that and the long smoke, I just don't have the attention. I love smoking
I
chickens
do.
too, and ribs.
That's
I
how
love
we're a
doing
little bit
ribs.
different. Ribs are great.
We are very different in that way. Like you can dedicate to stuff.
And
I have
yeah,
trouble.
and I can multitask when I'm very into them. Like when I'm excited about them, I can multitask very
I
well.
think the way I do things is in general is the way I clean. I'll start in one room and I go, this is
Yeah.
gonna go to that room, and I throw it by that room, and then
Mhm.
I have to
Yeah.
and it'll be like, oh, I'm doing dishes. Nope, now I'm picking up socks and putting them in the thing, and I
Yeah.
just too distracted.
Nah, it's all good. Well,
Yeah.
what do you say we get into the history and we'll
Oh, the
talk
history
about? Do we even
sucks.
mention
Do we
what
have
we're
to do
drinking
this?
today?
We have not.
No, it's a big deal. We chose this specifically for our 260th. That means 52 times 5, which is 6 years in.
Math.
No, 5 years in. 5 years in. No, do
Jeez.
the math right.
Bad
Um,
math.
but we thought that, yeah, exactly. Inaccuracies. We thought that Del Bac would be a great brand to present on our 260th. And we're drinking the Frontera, one of their part of their global cask series. And we'll get into what that means in a little bit. But before we do that, what do you say we take a quick break?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We'll be right back.
Cole,
Yeah.
what do you think about being supported in your crotch area?
I'm a big fan of that. I think when I'm not supported in my crotch area, I often get discouraged.
That's great because I've been wanting to support you in your crotch area, but I don't think I can do it as well as our friends at MeUndies. Welcome to
Hey,
MeUndies. They'll support your crotch and they won't
and
botch
support your life.
your circumcision.
Yep.
MeUndies.com/chillfilter.com #MeUndies.
Check them out now. And we're back. Not too
Yes,
many
we
notes
are.
to get to this week because we're recording the day after we recorded our last episode. So the news is that Robbie is likely, I guess you're in Mexico when this episode comes out.
I will be in Mexico when this comes out, drinking bottom shelf. They had teachers
Not
there last
Virginia
time.
liquor.
I
Yeah.
think they had Jack, but I'll be drinking tequila.
Heyo. No, that'd be great. That's when in Rome, drink Roman drinks. So we're drinking Del Bac Frontera. This is not our first Whiskey Del Bac episode. We've actually done 5 episodes on Whiskey Del Bac thus far. It all started with episode 113, where we drank Del Bac Dorado. Then we did the distillery tour, where we were drinking the tour. Where we were drinking the distiller's cut from that season. And that was with Stephen Paul and at the time Veronica Townsend. Tour. Then episode 143, we drank the classic from Del Bac. Episode 238, we drank Sentinel Rye. And then episode 244, not too long ago, we drank the Ode to Isla release with Mark Vierthaler, the head distiller there. And so Ode to Isla is in their global cask series. And so is what we're drinking today. So let's get into some history. So Whiskey Del Bac was started by a guy named Stephen Paul in 2006 in Tucson, Arizona. And we had Stephen Paul on for the episode 125, and he's the real deal. Awesome guy. Stephen Paul owned a boutique furniture shop since about in the 80s. He worked apparently with a lot of mesquite wood because his furniture incorporated a lot of like local wood, stuff like that. And so the story is that he was mesquite barbecuing one day with a glass of scotch in his hand. And he and his wife thought, what if instead of using peat to malt barley, what if we used mesquite wood? And it seemed that's where the dream began. And he set out to make a single malt whiskey representative of the American Southwest or the Sonoran Desert, both, and the Sonoran Desert. Apparently, what once started with a 5-gallon copper pot still turned into a 500-gallon distillery with their own malt house and for like the whole barley process. They got a whole thing going down. So to remind everyone how traditional Scotch peating works, you soak the barley seeds and the grain for a little, and then you let the grain start to grow as if it were like gonna grow.
How long
into a
these
barley
seeds been soaking? I don't know. You got to keep the timer on. It needs to be a little.
Yeah, you just got to do it a little. And so it's as if it were to start growing, but then you quickly cut it off while it's malting with some heat by heating the malting grain before it actually starts to form roots and all that. But in Scotland, they do this in two ways traditionally, or potentially a combination of the two. They use peat moss or charcoal, at least traditionally. There's probably some that use like ovens now. But they then mill and mash the dried grain, which might pick up the characteristics of the smoke from the heating process. And they use it to ferment and distill whiskey with at that point. So here with Whiskey Del Bac, they do all those things, but instead of peat or charcoal, they use mesquite wood. And they smoke the mesquite, or they burn the mesquite wood, which sets off the smoke in that way, which is actually a brilliant idea in my opinion. I mean,
yes, burning to get the smoke is such a brilliant notion.
Yeah,
I've always wondered.
like,
I've wondered how to get the smoke.
So
but I gotta
prevalent
burn it
in
Gosh,
Scotland.
I should be doing that.
But peat is so prevalent in the Southwest. I mean, when I lived in Phoenix, we had a peat or a mesquite tree in the front yard, and it grew like crazy. It was like a weed. How fast?
So,
what
does it smell? What does it smell like when you're not burning?
Is simple. Like, malt the grain, which they do on site, and then heat it to dry it with smoke from mesquite burning. And mesquite is very smoky when burning. It's like, it really is super smoky in general.
So wait, real quick, Cole.
Where did I leave off? So it's very dense and has a nice barbecue-y smell.
Cole,
and I mean, most Southern barbecue is. Can
you hear me?
No, not right now. Let me start over real quick. Let me put this away. Yeah, I don't know why it cut off. Just stopped.
I thought you were. Can you hear me?
It wasn't battery.
Hello.
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 Let me see if I can mess with the Bluetooth.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Heather, let me actually take this real quick.
Okay.
Hey, Heather. I am. I'm actually in the middle of it, but you called it a perfect time. No, you're fine. We had a pause at the moment, so.
Hi, Heather.
I don't. I totally forgot, but I would be so grateful if you would pick up something. Thanks for asking. Nope. I want you to decide because you get whatever you want. Okay, if you need help, just text me. I mean, like, I was thinking like Chick-fil-A or Taco Bell or something. Yeah, sounds great. Maybe 2 of them, please. No need. I'm good. Robbie's pointing out, he's saying 3. No, it's funny. But yeah, I love you. We're half done, so we'll be done in about 30 minutes. Oh, perfect. Okay, sounds good. Well, I love you. I'll see you soon. Bye. All right. I don't know why this hasn't picked up yet.
Can you hear me?
Let me put these away again. And I actually...
Shabba-da-doo.
What's that?
Shabba-da-dee. I hear Cole, but he don't hear me.
I can barely hear you through the computer, but I don't know why this...
The computer
Here, let me turn off
Bluetooth
up. And back on.
But Cole's earbuds, what is... They don't
Google or Pixel Buds.
His Pixel Bud. That's not a good name. Pixel Buds. That's a shame. What's going on with the marketing department at Google? Got me? Hello. Hello. I can't hear you now. Are you muted? I can't hear you.
Can you not hear me?
Nope, now I do.
Okay, cool. Okay, where did I leave off? Do you know? I mean, I know where I left off on the page, but did you
So
stop me at an
I
earlier
heard you
point?
the whole time, so you can keep going
Okay.
from where you left off. And
Okay. Yeah, I'll just pick up. But the process is simple: malt the grain, which they do on site, and then heat it to dry it with the smoke from the mesquite burning. And the mesquite is very smoky. When it's kind of a very smoky wood when burned. It's not
okay,
your average
so
wood.
question there.
Uh-huh.
So I think of being in the desert, I think of wood as being less, like having less water content.
Yeah,
Or does mesquite just like really hold on to the water for a long time so it gets
it
more
does.
smoke?
Yeah, mesquite pulls in the water, and it's crazy how dense the wood is for how little water it gets. I think that might be part of it, is that it's very dry wood in general and will use the water as much as it can, but it's
Okay.
dense in that way. So I don't
I'm
know.
picking up what you're putting down. So if you want a
Mhm.
denser wood, drink less water,
Maybe I could see a
but
correlation being there.
drink a so yeah, if you want your wood to be denser, gentlemen,
Give it less
drink
water.
less water and then gorge yourself on water.
This episode is sponsored by one of those
Hims.
pills.
Hims will
Yeah,
give you
Hims. Yeah. If your wood is not dense enough, take less water. So anyway,
then engorge your and then gorge yourself to engorge yourself.
yeah, that's deep. That's deep.
Is it?
So anyway,
Low hanging fruit.
yeah, so like even most southern barbecue uses mesquite wood because it's got a great
I
smoky
think most
flavor to it. So
barbecue
anyway,
in general.
yeah.
I think mesquite's kind of the treat.
Yeah. So those that know the podcast, well, they know that
Sorry.
we're fanboys of this growing distillery. And what gets me really excited is that left and right, people seem these days to be able to be in agreement with us. What Whiskey Del Bac is putting out
Del
is
Bac.
top tier American single malt. Del Bac.
Del Bac's all right.
That's funny.
No, it's
It
not.
actually, I like that one. Yeah. But anyway, so they are very much growing, and they have 3 standard bottlings so far. They have the Old Pueblo, the Dorado, the Classic. The Old Pueblo is smoked, unaged liquor,
It's like
or
White Dog.
unaged whiskey. Or no, you can't call it whiskey if it's not aged. So it's the white. It's basically their smoked white dog. And
That's what I
then,
said.
yeah, exactly. But then their Dorado is their smoked aged whiskey, and then their Classic is their unsmoked aged whiskey. So they're all at 90 proof. The distiller's cut, on the other hand, is usually a cask strength special release bottle, and they've still doing that. I just saw they put out a summer release this year. But then, and they basically incorporate different methods of blending and finishing and things like Madeira casks or tequila casks and such. There's also the Global Cask Series. Ode to Isla is on that, and it's specially finished smoked malted whiskey. Normandy is a Calvados finished unsmoked single malt, and Calvados, if you're not familiar, is a French type of apple or pear brandy.
Ooh la la.
And there's what we're drinking today, the Frontera. So Del Bac Frontera, it uses the unsmoked juice from Whiskey Del Bac and finishes it in Pedro Jimenez cask. That's right, Jimenez with an X, also known as PX casks. They have been used to age sherry, and not just any sherry. PX sherries and the cask they're aged in, they're kind of like the top tier of the sherry world. And this is something new I found out. They're a type of wine grape from Spain, and they're actually white grapes. And I didn't know this actually, because I always thought PX sherry was like red wine or red grapes because it's like a red sherry. But I found this out. What they do is they sun dry the grapes and basically concentrates the sugars and the sweetness of them, which also develops into basically a dark liquid over time. So yes, they are white grapes, but the process makes them a darker color because of the sun drying.
Interesting.
And then they'll use that to do sherry with. So so I thought that was pretty cool, but very sweet. What they do is like very sweet in that process.
Sweet.
Oh, PX sherry is very sweet sherry. It's almost like a port sherry, So anyway,
it's like you may want to hang out with sherry butts for a night, but you want PX, for your life partner because they're so sweet.
PX sherry butts. Anyway, first the Frontera is aged in new American white oak, like their similar classic, for example. Then it's finished in the PX sherry botas, which I believe is just the Spanish word for butts.
Why the heck notas?
Yeah, exactly. It's named, the Frontera part is named after the medieval city Jerez de la Frontera, or I don't know how they pronounce that, but anyway, which is basically the Spanish sherry wine capital. And there are only 1,200 bottles of this that were sold nationwide. So we got one of them.
Nice.
No age statement, but I would imagine it's around 2 years, maybe a little less, based on the previous conversations we've had with Whiskey Del Bac on aging the Dorado and the Classic and such. Still available on their website. If we love this, I encourage you to buy it on their website. But concerning the first batch, once they sell out, you're not going to find any more first batches. But they will do this. It's every one of the Global Cast series is an annual release, but it's limited. So next year, I'm going to be on top of that Ode to Isla. Hey. So that's what I got to say. This came out in the spring, so keep an eye out next spring for it as well. On their website, the price is $90. So let's dig in.
Got a cork pop, Cole?
Oh, I got a cork pop. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Here we go. Ooh, very high pitch.
That was a tight hole.
No comment.
Robbie's into his innuendos today. I think the less time I'm in my classroom, like the more
you just get dirty.
I get. Yeah, like I've been. Well, no, I spend, I would say 90% of my time around small children or children.
Yeah,
so
that's true. Yeah, only your sleep is with
which
adults.
Is inundated with children. Last night, so Judy's been having some medical stuff going on, and like Chelsea's been working, so I've been sleeping in the bonus room with both the girls. And the other night, Junie she was like, it's like, I can't get comfortable in my bed. I'm like, all right, lay here. Well, they set up these beds for Bo to sleep in with him. It's like a dog bed. And so she's laying next to the bed. In the middle, probably not middle of the night. It was like 12 o'clock, which is like my deep, like,
yeah.
But I dreamt that can't remember, like we were putting hay into a truck or something like that. And Judy kept handing me stuff, and then like I fell back asleep, and then I feel like a tip, and she goes, "No, Dad, wake up! I need you to help get this blanket over this." And I was like, so yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah,
I just realized, sadly, I skipped a few notes. 97 proof, no age statement. Yeah, I guess I did talk about that, but 97 proof I skipped. So maybe I didn't. I don't know.
I didn't remember. I don't have bad comprehension.
No, it's all good. So I'm getting like very sherry notes, but also like raisins. Like,
yes, and it's very sweet. It's very pungent, odorific.
Odorific.
It really is very raisiny sweet, not like your California raisin. It's more like
worried
artisanal raisin sweetness.
Yeah, like white raisins or something like that.
What makes the white raisin so artisanal, Cole?
No. It's nothing to do with the color.
You're worried about what?
Grape skin.
What are you worried about?
I'm worried that the sherry finish will take this over too much.
It does. There's a good sherry.
It is on the nose.
Yeah. And we've talked about it. Sherry butts drive us nuts. Sherry bodas. Sherry bodas. I wish I didn't notice. We'll see though.
Yeah, but you got to notice that sherry butt. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was a good joke for Cole.
Oh, Cole, you have good jokes all the time, man. You always
here and there.
Yeah, no. So I
It's good.
do. Here's the thing: I do appreciate a sherry note on the nose, but there is definitely a sweet spot to get it on the palate, and you can over sherry to kind of like mask taste, and then I mean, I guess you can't really under sherry, but there's a sweet spot where it's just like it gives a little, it imparts a little bit, but doesn't do too much.
Yeah. So I just took a sip, and here's the thing. It is a little sherry forward. And it's very sweet and good. I'm not getting too many like barley notes on this, but that being said, some of my favorite Highland scotches or like Speyside scotches are sherry finished. For example, Glendronach 18, Aberlour, Abuna. These are great to me. The part of my mind is saying like I'm not getting too much of the barley notes, which is okay, and that's in a way sometimes why I like those other scotches I mentioned. So this is very good. I almost wanted to like recognize where they're at as an American single malt though, as opposed to a sherry finished whiskey. Although it doesn't taste like a sherry finished bourbon or anything like that. It's great. I think this is actually fantastic. But part of me just wanted to like recognize Del Bac in this and not PX casks. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I think so. Hey, on YouTube, comment down below. Do you agree? No,
yeah.
I feel like that's like one of those things.
Take your sip and smash that like button.
I think this is not over sherried. It is on the cusp though. It's on the palate wise.
I might agree with you, to be honest.
I think this is like the threshold. I get a lot of good raisin. Like I get very good
and it's
raisiny notes. It is very delicious. I like it a lot.
I almost wish it were higher proof too. Not because of anything, but I think this kind of competes a little bit with Abuna. And the Abuna's cast strength. Yeah. Well, and this is definitely a higher proof for a single malt. I mean, it's what, 97? Yeah.
So I think honestly, it feels a little thin. So it could be a little lower. I mean, excited to see where the water and ice go. Totally. And it does get a little vapory. But I like it. I really do like it a lot. There's nothing bad about it at all. I am down with this. I also have not eaten today.
He's down with those sickness.
Ooh, I can't wait till fall to come back around again.
Why is that?
Because we can do that every week for 6 or 3 or 4 months.
Oh, when we get sick again? Yeah. Yeah. Every week.
So we have a birthday party tomorrow at Chuck E. Cheese. And we've been telling the girls, like, if there's people coughing,
anything.
Well, we're sanitizing. Don't put your hands up to your face. If anybody's coughing, we're putting masks on. We're not going to ruin this vacation with one of you being sick.
Oh, I was like, I didn't think you were that conservative, but yes, if you're going on a trip in a few days, that is worthy of.
Just that's the thing. Is like we paid so much and we're so excited. We don't want to ruin it. Last time we were in Cancun, Amara got COVID and it kind of ruined her last 3 days. So I'm like, we don't want to deal with it.
Done is just gone to Virginia.
Did Virginia outlaw COVID and sickness?
Yes.
We should have gone.
Abolished it.
So, hey, I don't think so. Amara in, I think, beginning of August is going to be in DC. I mentioned it. So
August.
But that might be tricky with a new baby, but it should be up there. So,
hey, send her down. Tell Kelsey to make a trip.
Kelsey might. Kelsey is awesome.
Hey, we'll take both of them. We got a guest room.
I'll let them know. Danae will be there too. Danae's going to
take her any day. And Kelsey.
Danae's going to be flying with Amara too. So.
Oh, nice. Is she hanging out there as well, or is she like flying back?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Danae's got a room too.
I'll let them know.
Yeah,
I'm super excited.
So I added water. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just envious because I've never been to Washington D.C. But mark my words, the twins are an age where I can start looking for like cheap flights.
Yeah,
and I'll come and go to Virginia. And would you pick me up in D.C.? Would you pick me up in D.C.
Oh,
and bring me
down
here? Okay,
absolutely. It's only like 2 hours away. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Your friend got what?
My friend got. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But I'm enjoying the nose with a little water.
It's more vapory, but it is like white grape. It's that
Yeah, that's
Welch's
a good
Olive
point.
Garden,
Welch's
white grape that
Yeah.
comes with your breadsticks and salad, and both are bottomless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the nose
Speaking
is
of
nice.
bottomless.
Uh-oh. You've been away from the kids at school too long. Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Hi-yo!
Heyo!
You do heyo? I do hi-yo.
That's true.
I think heyo
I
is
think
probably
Chelsea
right.
does heyo. Does Chelsea do? No, she does hiyo.
Oh, hi-yo.
Oh, hiyo.
Columbus
I go.
of the season. I don't know that.
Idaho.
Yeah, that's right. You the hoe, I the pimp. No, I the pimp, you the hoe. What was the other part of that joke?
Is it an old joke or was what we talked about?
We talked about it was something with like,
Was it like Iowa or something like that as well?
no,
like
it was something to do with a scotch.
Oh, no, I don't think I
pimp.
remember.
I don't either.
It wasn't Glenn Goyne.
No, it's not going. Man,
anyway.
we are. You know what? For recording back-to-back days,
yeah, it's pretty lively.
all cylinders are firing, brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you taken a sip of the water?
Yeah, it's I think the viscosity changed a little bit in a good way. It's velvety a little more, which reminds me of Abalura Abuna. But it's definitely got not as much oomph as Abuna has, but it's good. So on the bottle and on the website it says what is it? Well, at least on the website it said recommended with a large ice cube, which I brought.
No, I say water-wise, perfect. This was so good. It was more like slight white grape, and then like granule. Oh,
it's a geodesic sphere.
You're gonna be chomping on that for a long time before you fire that in the hole. Dang, that's a lot of ice.
It's a lot.
When you held it up, it looks cool. You better sip that fast, brother. When you held it up to the camera,
so
it looks huge.
So little ratio of surface area to volume that it won't melt as fast.
That was my nickname in high school.
Surface area
to ratio.
But I like it with ice. I mean, I like it with water. I might like it more with water. But I'm excited about this ice pour. Because remember when we had Ode to Isla, and that was like still just as good, if not better, with some ice? Fire in the hole. Fire in the hole. I have a feeling this will be similar, like really good with ice. I mean, heck, if Mark Vierthaler approves of saying on their website, add a large ice cube, at this point, I'm going to trust him.
Mr. Vierthaler wants you to drink it with ice.
You're right. It was Wait, was it taller? Yeah, it was Vierthaler. Wasn't no H.
Mr. Vierthaler says your ice is too bulbous.
Yeah. Oh wow, it is
the bulbous ice
pretty quickly. So anyway, let's go for the.
You better hurry up, man.
No, I don't have. I have a old fashioned glass, so there's not as much of a nose as with a like a bulbous glass hole. So I'm getting nothing on the nose here, but I'm gonna go for a sip.
You know, nose is definitely muted. Not getting a ton. Vapory. Cole just made the hubbard of what face. We'll see if we get a hubbard of what.
So there was this note I got right off the front, which was like a fruit candy. I can't put my nose or put my finger on it. But I don't know if it was just the fact that this ice cube is enormous.
No, it was very fruity up front. Like
yeah, but it kind of flattened out. To me, it's good. There's nothing bad about it. It just kind of got too.
No, there is a very there's a very fruity. It's like an artificial fruit note up front, and then it's oddly enough it goes to more nutty, which I haven't had with the other ones.
I like it.
Break up the silence. I do too.
It is not up there with their smoked varieties, in my opinion. I love smoked varieties from Whiskey Del Bac. But this competes. This really competes with a nice sherry finished Scotch. Like I appreciate Islays typically more than I appreciate Highlands. So I think that says something here of like I like this one, but not as much as I like the smoked varieties. But I do have a rating for this one.
Well, real quick, before you get to your rating, the front end with ice is kind of like yike stripes of fruit stripe gum. It's like an artificial fruitness.
That's probably another. Yep.
But then it definitely goes more like nutty. Like the sherry's not there at all.
That's true. That's a great point. Yeah, it turns into like a. I mean, the barley shows up on the ice pour more than anything.
Is that what, does barley taste like a nut?
Yeah, it can. It can have a nutty flavor.
Because to me, it's like very much more like Evan Williams peanuttiness is what I kind of get.
Yeah, I can't tell at that point. But I think it's good. I definitely prefer. I think the water and the neat tide and the ice is behind it too.
I think water was the best. And I think ice had a little bit of hubbada huh, not a hubbada what, hubbada huh, and then neat was great too. I think it definitely pushes the barrier for like, is this over sherried? Is it relying on sherry?
Yeah,
which I don't think it is.
Yeah,
but if it was any more sherry finished, it'd be like it would be. So I like this. All right, what do you got for rating, Cole?
I'm gonna go 9.1 here. I think it is hubbada what. I think it is competing, especially for probably a less than a 2-year whiskey. It is really competing with good Highland Scotches, and especially sherry finished Highland Scotches. This reminds me of, like I said, Glendronach 18, which is one of my favorite Highland Scotches of all time. That's impressive. My only complaint is I just wish it had a little more proof, I guess, because I did mention the fact that I might want it to have more barley flavor. And I don't know if I fully stand by that because, like I said, Glendronach 18 is like a sherry bomb, and so is Abuna. But I do wish this had a little bit more oomph to it. In heat more than like it's got plenty of flavor, but I wish it had a little more like whiskey behind it.
So I kind of disagree because I feel like neat wise, I felt like the proofage could have been lessened a little bit, which is why I like the water better, I think.
Yeah. That's a good point.
But you know what? It's always okay to go a little bit higher proof. You can always water it down.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I'm going to go 8.8. I feel like
not 9+.
No, I feel like if it had a little bit of like the mesquited process to it, I would like it better. And I agree with you. I like
apart in a good way.
Speaking of which, we need to do the what's their white dog called again?
Old Pueblo.
I think we need to do that as
I think you're right.
Patreon drink along.
That's a great idea. We'll
because
talk to,
it is really good.
Brian Rapp about getting a few bottles of that.
Yeah, it is really good. So,
Marco. But anyway,
in KC,
in AZ, ayo,
heyo,
heyo,
yeah, heyo is it. I will admit when I'm wrong. Will you, Cole, take a tour?
No, I'll take a tour.
All right, should we move along, brother?
Yeah, I guess so. Let's move it on to our next segment of the show that we like to call a Whiskey World News.
And we're back. Part of the show, we're reading an article. We didn't write it, gonna read it. Here it goes. We're gonna talk about it. And also, it's not news. This is pre-recorded 2 weeks. Sorry, folks.
It's not new news.
It's the old news. Welcome to Old Whiskey World News, OWWN.
Yep.
This is titled, it's from Whiskey Raiders, titled Redemption's New Master Blender Seeks to Restore Rye Whiskey to Pre-Prohibition Glory. Written by Cynthia Marison. Oh, shoot. Oh, there we go. Redemption Whiskey, a distiller that specializes in heavily rye-based whiskeys, announced in a special press release. Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
After we've drank it,
yeah,
I do a little more of that. Sorry for the whistling, folks.
It's all good. I didn't notice.
Published on Thursday, that has tapped Alan Kennedy for its new master blender position. Kennedy holds nearly 2 decades of experience. The former Nashville native started his you're all hearing it now. Career as a classically trained pastry chef before entering the wine spirits industry. According to Kennedy, his formative years worked as a pastry chef taught him the importance of blending art and science, which has served him in the distilling world. After several years of training under different blenders, Kennedy was hired at Lexington Brewery Distillery, Town Branch Whiskey, as master blender. He was one of the youngest master blenders working in Kentucky Bourbon Trail at the time. Kennedy's aim as a master blender is to recreate memories with his spirits, and he offers a sensory-based approach to this work. His favorite toy when he was a child was a pea-stained Grover Cleveland doll that reminds him of... No, I made that up. This is the exact approach he approached to bring to his position at whiskey at the... This is 97. I'm feeling it a little. I haven't eaten today, and I'm feeling it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Sorry. The technique Kennedy referred to is practice at the Redemption Whiskey adapted from a French winemaking process where a wine sits on a dead yeast cell. That's interesting. Where wine sits on a dead yeast cell, and ages for added complexity. Certain wines like Muscadet and Loire Valley are widely associated with having sirloin aging process, having a zesty, bready complexity, according to Wine Foley.
That was a nickname in college. Zesty, bready complexity.
I still think of you as that man. A Redemption whiskey process is similar in that it has an acidic liquid strained off the mash called backset to distill the whiskey before the aging process occurs in barrels.
Nice.
Redemption whiskey seeks to revitalize rye-based spirits and cites the historical significance of rye in its quest to do so. The brand's core program hosts bottles of bourbon, rye, and high rye bourbon that are inspired by prohibition recipes. Redemption Whiskey also released a wheated bourbon, which Whiskey Raiders has reviewed here. That's it, man. Any thoughts?
Nice. Yeah, actually, I think it's a very interesting thing because Redemption has a reputation. I'm pretty sure this is them. I know it's not Rittenhouse because Rittenhouse is
Rittenhouse was very
Heaven
grassy.
Hill, I believe. Yeah. But I might be wrong about Heaven Hill. I'm pretty sure it's Heaven Hill though. But Redemption is known to add things to their whiskey. As a rye, because you don't call it if you call it a straight rye, you can't add anything. But if you don't call it a straight rye, you can add flavoring and stuff, which is not for bourbon. You can't ever do that for bourbon, but for rye, there are some loopholes, and I think Redemption normally took advantage of those. So I think it's kind of cool. All I got to say is it's kind of cool that this guy seems to take his stuff seriously and is probably ridding the company of that reputation. So I think that's
ridding Rittenhouse.
Ridding Redemption of reputation.
Emancipation Proclamation, 1862.
Claymation. Yeah.
Oh man, have we talked about this before? Claymation.
Why I'm scared of the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and I still don't understand why.
That's not claymation. It's stop motion.
Okay. Either way, I'm scared of them.
Did you? You probably don't because you were not raised with television. But do you remember Albert Einstein's claymation Tom Sawyer mashup?
No.
You're dead to me.
By like Rush Tom Sawyer or like by Mark Twain Tom Sawyer? Or yeah.
Mark Twain Tom Sawyer, you're dead to me. Podcast is over. 5 years and done.
And that's it. Have your kid. I'll never see you again.
No, it was like, so there's like a weird claymation with, what's his name again?
Albert Einstein. Oh, Mark Twain.
Did I say Mark Twain?
You literally said Albert Einstein. Yeah.
I meant Mark Twain. So there's like a claymation where he goes around the universe with Halley's Comet.
Oh. No.
To Tom Sawyer. Did he write Tom Sawyer?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's one of those things. Anyway, hey, good on Redemption Rye.
Good on Redemption. Do you have a whiskey, or what whiskey would you choose this week?
Yeah. What's your favorite claymation that you drink whiskey to?
Definitely not Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Do you not like that?
No, it somehow like sets me off. Like I'm just like, I don't want to be here right now. Yeah, when his nose starts like pulsating, I'm like, I gotta go. Like I don't even know. Maybe I just had a weird bad experience before I can remember. But it's like weird that I'm just like, nah, I'm good. I'll just hang outside.
Really?
Yeah,
I love
weird.
Those.
Oh yeah,
I love all those stop motions.
Maybe I just had a really bad experience before I was like 4 or 5, you know.
All right, that brings us to what whiskey would you choose? We have no results from last week because we're recording early.
Yeah.
What's the weirdest whiskey you ever drank it in? That you're like,
I like this
weird.
Question.
I know what I'm going to say, but I think we're going to say the same thing.
I don't know. I don't think we will.
I got a good feeling.
Let me think about this. You go ahead and I'll think about it.
I'm going to let you think. I'm going to tell people about MeUndies.
That's right. If you soak your whiskey in MeUndies, it'll be the weirdest whiskey you ever had.
No. All right. What's the weirdest whiskey that people... listen, what's the weirdest whiskey... No, right. What's the weirdest whiskey you ever drank it in?
I think...
We're going to have the same answer.
No, I don't think we will because I don't think
we will. And I'm not going to change my answer based on your answer. I'm just keep in mind.
So I think one of the weirdest ones was a Maker's Mark barrel finishing series. And I had it on Matt Madness. And I was like, this is funky. And I forget what the exact barrel finishing one was, but I was like, this is Maker's Mark, but this is funky.
Well, I think you're wrong, Cole, because it's Floki. What was it?
That's true. No, I'll stick with my answer.
You stick with it, so it'll be different. But it's the Floki sheep dung, which is the weirdest one I've had. Yeah. Maybe like because it was so weird, it was the greatest whiskey I ever had. And I think it was awesome too, because it just highlighted like, oh, this is how smoke affects things. Like,
yeah, especially
it permeates. Yeah, sheep dung smoke. Yeah. It was great.
Yeah.
It was awful, but it was great.
Yeah, totally. No, that's great. I love that. I feel like this has been a good episode.
You know what?
Next week, we're not putting it up to a vote because
you
Robbie's
get what
you
get.
Care of it. You get what you get, people, and you be grateful, and you say thank you. May I have another next week?
And I will gladly give you another. I'm trying, folks. I hope
you will, Robbie.
Happy 5-year anniversary, Cole. I hope it was good for you.
It was okay. No kidding.
But yeah, Cole. I hope we have 5 more years.
Yeah, at least. Yeah, I love it. And I hope that we have more than 5 years of this mediocrity.
Well, I hope the mediocrity, someone's pulling my driveway. But I hope it's someone I know. I hope it's someone I trust.
Most of all listeners.
But most of all listeners, I hope our love of whiskey lifted your spirits.
Ain't nobody got time for that.